This is the Queer Cinema Catchup recap and reaction to White Lotus Season 3, Episode 7, Killer Instinct.
You can call me Valentina.
You can call me Armond.
We are going to play a White Lotus themed game with these whiteboards, and we'll recap where all of our characters are at by the end of this episode.
And stay tuned because we have a very important announcement at the end of this episode.
It's very true. You won't want to miss it.
Please make sure to subscribe and like and comment. We love engaging conversation.
We do.
And we love engaging games. Let's get at it.
Let's do it. All right. So who do you think dies at the end of the season, now seeing the episode Killer Instincts? All right, who'd you say?
I said Jacqueline, just because it's like a surprising choice.
It would be big in the news if a movie star died.
And yeah, it'd be huge in the news and then I'm just thinking back to the previous episode. She's so obsessed with like youth and like what people think of her, and it'd be like kind of like the most ironic thing for her career.
Well, and if she died young in a way, she'd kind of get what she wanted.
She'd
never
forever.
grow old. Ooh, Joe, I really like that.
Oops.
Okay, well, I'm saying Rick, and that's because our friend but I'm using a question mark, as you can see here. I have some uncertainty about it. And the reason
you don't know who he is, but you chose him anyway.
Rick, played by Walter Goggins.
I hope there's a character named Rick in this show.
In this last episode, he seems to have found peace. He encounters the man he believes killed his father. I'm still not convinced of that fact. He has the gun, he's about to shoot him, and then he just sees that he's just a frail man he's built up in his mind all these years, and then he can walk away and be satisfied and happy and content and live his life. And so our friend pointed out that it would be very tragic if he were to die, because it would be as if he had just let go of anger and violence and obsession earlier in his life, he could have had contentment, peace, and love with Amy Lou Wood's character, Chelsea. Now, the preview for next week kind of seemed to be setting that up, because there were a lot of loving, glorious shots of them embracing on the beach. But I don't know, something about that, it just seems too sad, and what would Mike White be trying to say? You know, like let go of your resentments. I mean, I guess it's a good message. Yeah. But I feel like he likes a little bit more of a skewer. He likes a skewer. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure. Anyway.
Yeah.
Next up, we have favorite character of the week. And least favorite. Should we just do the same ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite is Lori. She's just a badass. She was having fun this episode. She was like, fuck her friends. I'm going to go enjoy my time.
She was not rewarded.
She was not rewarded. She was punished. Which is why Valentine's friend, who I don't know his name, is my least favorite character.
What did he do? And what did we find out that was actually important?
Lori and Valentine's friend slept together, and immediately upon sleeping together, this friend asks Lori for $10,000 to bring his mom to Thailand. And Lori's like, I don't have that kind of money. He's like, I know you have the money. You're rich. She's like, actually, I'm not that rich. And then things are seeming to get heated in a bad way. But then, fortunately, Valentine's wife or girlfriend pops up, interrupts them, and Lori has to escape out the window. She may or may not have stolen from Valentine's friend the necklace that she doesn't realize was actually stolen from the White Lotus in the previous episode.
And Chelsea knows that. So I do think that and the gun are going to be crucial to what ends up happening with the shooting. Those two props as items, you know what I'm saying? They're kind of gonna be what causes the murder to happen. So maybe it will be Jacqueline who dies, and maybe it will be because Lori's under threat because they think she stole the bracelet, and then Jacqueline, as terrible as these friends are to one another, will try and help Lori and get shot in the process, because they really do love each other, right?
Lori's gonna get shot?
No, like she'll be under threat with the gun pointing at her, and then maybe Jacqueline will like push her out of the way.
That doesn't sound like Jacqueline.
So you think that they just all hate each other?
No, I don't think they hate each other. I mean, they hate each other in the way that, like, as a kid, you got in a fight with your siblings, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like why they have such an emotional reaction to each other so much in this episode is because they have so much, like, there's a lot of resentment there.
Definitely. And jealousy about their choices.
So I wouldn't say it's hate. They care. Well, they may hate each other, but there's no indifference there, which indifference is worse than hate.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. And we should quickly add, we read something in Deadline this week that Lori's child was supposed to be a non-binary child, and that there were supposed to be a couple scenes where Lori's having a hard time explaining that. She struggles with pronouns, and that they took it out because Mike White felt, given the political climate, he didn't think that was enough like screen time to really address it in a meaningful way, and he didn't kind of want to just put that in there as an aside. But I think it's interesting because that makes the scene with Leslie Bibb's character revealing that she voted for Trump a lot more loaded.
It does.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting. I misunderstood what you told me. I thought you told me that Lori's character was originally non-binary, and I was like, oh, I wonder how that factors in. And I was really focusing on this episode, and I was like, I guess I could be seen as non-bi, and I was like, well, actually, no, this doesn't really fit at all. So I thought the decision was made to switch it back after, but that makes total sense. But yeah, I think that totally adds weight, but even with it not necessarily, they don't state. I guess they said
they said that Lori's child is a problem child that's gotten kicked out of school. Is the information we have. I do have a problem with Mike White's decision insofar as he left in Sam Rockwell's monologue, which deals with identity and stepping into another gender, and I'm just kind of like, you put in the provocative thing and you took out something that's actually kind of addressing these. Like, I don't know, incorporating real people into the narrative. Maybe his daughter, maybe the child wouldn't have had enough screen time. I don't know. But anyway, I do have questions about that.
Yeah. We did watch The Studio recently, so I wonder if there was a producer on set that was forcing Mike White to do things against his will. Well, I guess he's the showrunner, so he has more power.
If you want us to review The Studio, comment. No one will comment. Okay, my favorite character, I kind of doodled while you were talking, was Fabian. I can't say his name. Because I thought it was hilarious. Every season, Mike White makes a huge, big deal out of the hotel manager characters. Armond and Valentina, a.k.a. us. Huge, crucial roles in the season, especially Armond, I would say most famously. And so this season, he's instead created a character who just wants the spotlight so badly, but is afraid to do it. And then he begins to sing, and I couldn't tell if they were going to go the route of he was going to be terrible or go the route of he was actually going to be surprisingly good. And it seemed like he was surprisingly good.
It was
and then they just cut away.
Funny how they did it. You're like leading up, like, is he going to be good or not? And then he gets one note out, and then it cuts to the three friends. Like, anyway, so what's going? Like, they immediately just forget to pay attention to Fabian singing. So there wasn't even the joke because we were anticipating whether it was going to be Fabian's really bad at singing. Was kind of the more obvious thing, or he'd be really good, but then nobody shows up. But if people did show up, he was good, nobody cared.
So sad, but I say, Fabian, keep singing your heart out. Don't give up on your dreams, okay? You can be somebody too. All right, my least favorite, I'm gonna go with Charlotte, Gary/Greg's girlfriend, and that's because I don't buy her story. There was another very kind of shocking kind of sexual monologue in this episode where Charlotte tells Saxon, oh, you can't leave the party because because I cheated on him, he finally opened up to me about what turns him on. And when he was a child, he used to his parents would have sex with the door open and he used to watch them, and then he would get caught and he'd run away, and now he wants to relive out that fantasy. But instead, I will slip away from you, Saxon, who's going to play this role for us, and go to Greg so that he can kind of get his mother back. And it was hilariously shot because Gary/Greg was sitting right behind them, and Saxon was turning to look at him, and he was sort of staring at him, and I laughed a lot. But the reason I don't trust what Charlotte says is because she was very insistent in the previous episode, I want you and your brother to come. Mm-hmm. And then when they opened the door, Charlotte was like, where's your brother? And was definitely disappointed. So how does Lachlan fit into this fantasy?
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Well,
I think Gary's fantasy is he wants to shoot somebody who's cheating with Charlotte. Yes. That's what I think is going to happen. Well, actually, I don't really think that, but.
But it's and then why we're led to think that also is because they never show us a conversation between it. So we can't judge for ourselves. It's all told through Charlotte's perspective.
And does Gary seem like that kind of man?
No.
He just seems kind of boring.
And what made that scene so great, though, is Chelsea's there, and she's been talking so much, not even talking shit, but she just rats on Saxon. And Patrick Schwarzenegger, what an incredible, he can emote so well. She's called him soulless. She's shamed him for, interacting with his brother, which, little strange vibes. Are you trying?
Yes.
To Saxon?
No. I'll show you when I'm done. Keep talking. It's inspiring me.
And so Charlotte's saying this fantasy, and then Chelsea just lights up, and she's like, you should totally do that to Saxon. She's like, you should totally sleep with them, have a threesome, fulfill Greg's dreams. And it's such a surprising answer. I think Saxon's like, no. And then he walks off. Charlotte seems hurt. And And then Chelsea's like, well, I'm tired. Bye.
But then they have a moment. I thought that was really interesting. Chelsea is definitely attracted to Saxon.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, I can be
Saxon
spiritual, teach me your ways.
Saxon walks her home.
And so I'm curious where that's going.
Yeah.
This is my Patrick Schwarzenegger Saxon. What do you think?
Yeah. He has kind of like a Kennedy hairdo.
That's kind of why I did this situation.
Yeah, I see it.
So maybe I'll keep doing that as you talk about different characters because it's kind of fun for me. Any other? I can tell you one of my favorite. Well, no. Tell me one of your favorite moments, or anything else that happened that you want to recap, or we can go character.
I don't know.
I was really struck by another Patrick Schwarzenegger moment, and Jason Isaacs acting. I mean, he's been very muted and clearly suffering, but it's been very difficult to watch because it's kind of one note. He's an incredible actor, but the character note has been very singular. But this time around, we got a new beat where Patrick Schwarzenegger, Saxon, notices his dad's behavior again, pulls him aside and says, Dad, if something's going on at work, I need to know. I have nothing else in my life that's going for me. Work is the only thing. I'm made peace with the fact that I'm going to be your son forever, but if this is taken away from me, I'm nothing and I can't handle being nothing. And just hearing like a son say that to a dad who knows that the answer is, well, sorry, son, you're nothing now, or yeah, I dragged you down with me. And just watching Jason Isaacs' face, it made me feel so awful, and I almost couldn't watch it. And then we got an interesting scene where now Jason Isaacs' character is imagining he's already had a suicide murder fantasy of killing himself and killing his wife, but now he's imagining killing Saxon as well. And I wonder if we're going to get a final fantasy of him killing all members of his family.
Yeah, it's always been broken up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. With Jason Isaacs' character kind of like annoys me too is they're also like they have a lot of money, and yes, it's like horrible, and the consequences for Jason Isaacs and what will happen to him in the future, like he might go to prison and all that, but like to think that you need to like kill your family, like even though Parker Posey is saying that she can't imagine like living a life that isn't involving wealth, just because Saxon's saying that he can't live without this job, I think that they can definitely exist beyond this, and I don't think they actually want to die. So I just think it's like really ironic. That's a really scary image.
This is my Jason Isaacs.
I don't think you were as successful with that one.
I agree.
His like lips would have to be like.
That's why he looks all his episodes. He's so miserable. I would agree. I think that it's not fair to not give them the chance to demonstrate their ability to rise above.
But also, like, why is Jason Isaacs so like taken by this? And like, how does he not have the?
I mean, I feel like he's just about to be arrested for a white collar crime.
Well, yeah, but you had kids, and you're just gonna kill them off if they. Like, surely they have other means to.
This is why I think like his wife he included when she seemed helpless and you know what I mean. And so now Saxon has said, "Without you, I'm nothing." So now I'm curious how Piper and Lachlan are going to fit into this, because for Piper, her whole thing is I want to be separate from my family, and yet there's something about the way that she and her family to come and see the monastery and needed their
approval,
grace, that makes me question how much she really wants separation from them. I think she actually wants acceptance for her being different from her family.
Yes.
And then when it comes... Oh, go ahead.
Lachlan has asked Lachlan to stay with her that one night at their mom's request for her to try it out for one night to see if she actually wants to do this. And then Lachlan in this episode says that he wants to stay here for a year too. And then Piper gives this look of, like, immediately is just like, okay. And
she's not happy
about it. And it's like one of those things that's like, when you have a friend or you have a sibling where you want to do something to be independent and come off unique, and then they
glom
yeah,
on.
you feel yeah.
Well, I'm curious, like, is it because she is annoyed he's saying yes, or that she's afraid that she's not so different after all, or not so distinct, that makes her react the way she does to Lachlan?
I think she wants it to be her thing.
Her own thing, okay. And do you think Lachlan said he wanted to stay because he's so afraid of what happened with his brother, the incest?
Like not wanting to face it? I think he's really lost.
Yeah.
And so when he sat down during those meditations, he actually got some clarity. I think he kind of like
He liked
enjoyed that.
Interesting. Oh, Belinda. What's going on with Belinda?
Greg sat Belinda down at his party and
That's
offered
right.
her $100,000.
That's what I predicted. Well, I predicted he would offer her hush money. Do I think that's enough hush money? No, I do not. Do you think it's enough hush money?
I don't really know. I mean, $100,000 is a lot.
I don't know. To lie about a murder. I mean, all right, wait. We get your board.
Nobody's.
Would you lie? Would you take the money?
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, same. I wouldn't take it. I was gonna write it on my board.
There was like someone left out their furniture last night, and there's a computer chair, and there's a $20 bill on the chair.
I mean, that is completely different. Because you know what happened? Someone dropped that on the street, and somebody put it on the chair in the hopes that someone would find it. But that person's not coming back for their 20.
Wow.
But anyway, sorry. You could say what you were going to say.
I mean, I just didn't take the 20.
You didn't. You were very adamant that it would be immoral. And I said you should take it, but I also didn't take it. So
Yeah.
make of that what you will. Okay. And do you think Belinda's going to take the money?
Well, she's in a pickle because if she doesn't take the money, it's a threat to her life because he knows that she won't stay silent.
Yes.
And then if she takes the money, she has to stay silent. Or if she speaks up, she'll get killed.
And her son is there saying you should take the money. So there's pressure as well. I don't know. I think she's going to take it. Like I could see her taking it, and I could see some kind of collateral. She gets her spa, but poor child dies, which kind of goes along with the idea that Rick could die because he's finally done the good thing. But if he had done the good thing sooner, then life would have been better. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like that's not the message necessarily.
What is the message?
I don't know. But that seems almost too Christian God-like, for it to be that kind of... Although there's the karma element. I don't know. Anyway. All right, and then I think we should just quickly say Mook and Gay Talk went on their date, but Mook was very disappointed because Gay Talk revealed that he's not going to get promotion. He's not a killer. He doesn't want to kill. He thinks it's wrong. He thinks it goes against his faith. She thinks it's admirable. He has principles, but thought he was more ambitious and he thinks he needs to live in the real world. Mm-hmm. And crucially, Gay Talk saw Lori and the other men and realized that the other men who were friends with Valentina are the ones who robbed the White Lotus. And
then might think that Lori's in with them.
Joe!
And she took the necklace from the place, and that's where the mix-up happens.
You're 100% right about that. Wow, look at that.
Real-time
theorizing. Cool. Okay, guys. Well, I think we talked about everybody. If we forgot anybody, we're sorry. And next week's it's the finale.
It's the finale.
The finale of season 3.
Finale in many ways.
Are you pro? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes. I had one more question.
What's your other question?
How are you feeling about the theme song now?
I love it.
I am too.
It's really good.
I'm thinking it's even better than the second season finale.
It's crazy how that happens.
First and second season music. It is a finale in more ways than one.
Yes.
We have some difficult news to share. Don't worry, we're still going to be podcasting. But our time as roommate podcasters is over. Is over. We're still going to occasionally do in-person episodes, so don't worry about that. But we will also take advantage of remote options too. So it's a change.
It's a change. And check in this Thursday. We will do an
episode
about
special episode.
Wicked. Mm-hmm. And it is all about friendship.
It is, because we've been changed for good by the podcast, by our friendship, by our living situation. Yes. And you don't want to miss this because it's spectacular in more ways than one.
Well, you were talking about Fabian. I'm like, well,
we might be a little bit. You know, when I said to Fabian, go for your dreams, let's just say we went for our dreams.
All right. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Again, we do like interaction.
We do.
Your thoughts, your theories, how you've been liking this season. And then please check out our other podcasts on different TV shows and also our main film podcast too.
Yes, please do. We love to hear it. We'd love to see it. Please, please.
Thank you for checking in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.